The Gambler's Ruin Project, where the odds get cracked. English Premier League, round 28.
Welcome back to the Gambler's Ruin Project, powered by SmartBet AI. Whether you're here for the stats, the strategies, or just the thrill of the Premier League, we're glad to have you with us.
That's right. This week we've got a huge slate of matches to break down. And as always, we're using AI-powered models, deep dive statistics, and betting insights to give you the most informed predictions possible.
Before we get started, just a quick reminder. This episode is AI generated and meant for informational purposes only. Gambling can be addictive, so please bet responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, stick around to the end for important resources.
All right, enough disclaimers. Let's get into the action. Our first matchup this week is one that promises goals and plenty of drama. Brentford versus Aston Villa.
Brentford at home, it's a tough place for any team to visit. They love to attack and their numbers prove it. 1.68 expected goals per 90 minutes at home. That's a serious offensive output.
And Aston Villa? Well, their away record is shaky at best. They're conceding 1.6 goals per match on the road, which is not exactly the defensive solidity you want when visiting a team like Brentford.
And let's talk history. These two teams love playing in goal fests. The last three meetings, 3-3 draw, another 3-3 draw, and a 1-1 draw. That's averaging over 4 goals per game.
And that's why we expect another high-scoring affair. Brentford have the edge at home, Villa have been inconsistent, and both teams tend to find the net when they clash.
So the question is, who comes out on top? Let's break down the Monte Carlo simulation results.
Alright, time to get scientific. We ran thousands of simulations on this game, factoring in everything from team form to XG data. Here's what we got.
And the most common expected scoreline, Brentford 2-1 Aston Villa.
That makes sense. Brentford has the attacking firepower, Villa's away defence is vulnerable, but Villa can still cause problems in transition. Expect an open game with goals at both ends.
So Brentford has the edge, but who are the players most likely to make an impact? Let's talk key players.
Starting with Brentford's main threats, Bryan Mbeumo and Yoane Wissa. These two have been absolutely clinical this season. Bryan Mbeumo 15 goals this season, Brentford's talisman in attack. Yoane Wissa 12 goals, a player who thrives in transitions and finishes well under pressure.
For Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins is the biggest danger. Ollie Watkins, 12 goals, Villa's most reliable finisher and always a threat on counter-attacks. Marcus Rashford, he's only got 4 goals this season, but don't underestimate his ability to create magic out of nowhere.
Alright, now let's talk discipline. Who's getting booked in this one?
For Brentford, Christian Norgard is the one to watch. He's already picked up 6 yellow cards, and against Villa's attacking midfielders, he might be forced into a few tactical fouls.
And for Villa, there are 2 big names. Morgan Rogers with 8 yellow cards, loves a strong challenge, sometimes too strong. John McGinn with 5 yellow cards, and he'll be right in the middle of the midfield battle, where things could get heated.
So if you're looking at booking markets, McGinn and Rogers are your guys. And if you're betting on goals, Mbeumo and Watkins are the best picks to find the net.
Alright, we've covered the players. Now let's talk betting strategy. What are the best angles for this match?
Alright, here are our top AI-backed betting angles for this match. Brentford to win at 51.76%, both teams to score with a 71% chance, over 2.5 goals with a 71% likelihood, over 10.5 Brentford shots with high probability, and John McGinn or Morgan Rogers to get a yellow card, a strong likelihood.
This is the type of match where betting on goals makes sense. Brentford has the edge, but Villa can definitely score. That's why both teams to score and over 2.5 goals are great picks here.
And if you're looking for a player prop bet, Bryan Mbeumo anytime goalscorer and John McGinn to be booked.
That's the breakdown. Brentford is the stronger side, but Villa's attack keeps this interesting. High scoring game, both teams likely to score, and Brentford slightly favoured to take the win.
But don't go anywhere. We've got another match to break down, and this one is even tougher to call. Wolves versus Everton. Stick around.
Alright, let's move on to our second Premier League clash, Wolves versus Everton. This one's shaping up to be a tight, gritty contest, and honestly, the stats make this one a tough call.
That's right. Neither of these teams is exactly lighting the world on fire right now, but they both have strengths that could tip the balance. Let's start with form. Wolves versus Everton over the last 10 games.
Everton has the slight edge here. They're picking up 1.5 points per game compared to Wolves' 1.0, and that consistency is key in a matchup like this.
And when we talk home and away form, things get even more interesting. Wolves at home are struggling with inconsistent results and a habit of conceding sloppy goals. Everton away are not dominant, but resilient. They're picking up points more often than they drop them.
That makes Everton slightly more reliable. They're not unbeatable on the road, but they're a bit harder to break down than Wolves.
Now, let's talk XG stats, because when you break this down, these teams are closely matched. Wolves have an XG of 1.30 and an XGA of 1.56, showing a leaky defense. Everton have an XG of 1.27 and an XGA of 1.48, slightly better defensively.
That XGA for Wolves is worrying. 1.56 expected goals against means they're conceding a lot of chances. And against an Everton team that thrives on grinding out results, that could be a problem.
And Wolves are missing a key man. Joao Gomes is out. That's a huge loss for their midfield.
Meanwhile, Everton have a full squad. That's a rare luxury in the Premier League, and it gives them a big boost in a tight game like this.
So, to summarise, Wolves have struggled for consistency, their defence has been shaky, and they're missing a key player. Everton, more stable, better on the road, and at full strength. This one's going to be close, but Everton might just have the edge.
And to get an even clearer picture, let's go to the Monte Carlo simulations.
Alright, let's run the numbers. We've put thousands of AI simulations through our Monte Carlo model, and here's what we got. Wolves win at 37.6%, draw at 26.2%, and Everton win at 36.3%.
That is tight. This is as close as it gets. Just a 1.3% difference between Wolves and Everton.
And that means betting-wise, you have to be careful. This is a match where one moment of brilliance or a defensive mistake could be the decider.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's look at the most likely scorelines. The most common result is a 1-1 draw. If Everton struggle to finish chances, it's 1-0 Wolves. If Everton's defence holds up, it's 0-1 Everton. If Wolves' attack clicks at home, it's 2-1 Wolves. If Everton capitalise on Wolves' defensive issues, it's 1-2 Everton.
The most common result, 1-1 draw. That tells me this is a game where both teams will have chances, but neither is likely to dominate.
And if you're looking for a winner, it's a coin flip. Wolves have a slight edge at home, but Everton have the better away form and a healthier squad.
So what's the key takeaway here? Alright, time to get down to business. Where's the smart money in this one? Wolves versus Everton is shaping up to be a tight, scrappy battle. So let's talk about the best betting angles.
And we're not just guessing here. These bets are backed by AI-driven probabilities, statistical trends, and historical data. So let's dive into the best plays for this match.
All right, first up, if you're looking for a safer bet, Everton or draw, double chance, is the way to go. Wolves have been very unreliable at home, while Everton have shown they can grind out results on the road.
Wolves' home struggles are real. They've lost more games than they've won at Molineux this season. And without Joao Gomes in midfield, they could struggle to control the game.
Meanwhile, Everton has been resilient on the road. They might not blow teams away, but they've been hard to beat.
Exactly. If Wolves don't score early, Everton could easily control the tempo and snatch a point, or even a win. That's why taking Everton or draw is a smart, low-risk bet.
Now let's talk goals or lack thereof.
Under 2.5 goals is a strong play here. The stats tell us this will likely be a tight, low-scoring game. Both teams have struggled to consistently score, and neither side wants to open up too much.
Look at the XG numbers. Wolves are generating 1.30 XG per match, but conceding 1.56 XGA. Meanwhile, Everton's XG is 1.27, and they allow 1.48 XGA. These are not explosive attacking teams.
That tells us a few things. 1. Both teams are more defensively structured than attacking. 2. Chances will be limited, meaning goals might be hard to come by. 3. This game could easily end 0-0 or 1-1.
Under 2.5 goals has about a 50% probability, making it one of the stronger statistical bets here. If you're expecting a defensive battle, this is the bet to make.
Alright, if you're feeling brave and looking for a higher risk, higher reward bet, the 1-1 correct score bet is the way to go.
And let's be honest, 1-1 just feels right for this game. The most common Monte Carlo simulation result was a draw, and Wolves and Everton have both played in low-scoring, evenly matched games recently.
It's a risky bet, no doubt. Correct score bets always are. But if you're going for value, this one makes a lot of sense.
And historically, these two teams have a habit of playing scrappy, cagey games. If Wolves score early, Everton will push for an equaliser. If Everton score first, Wolves will fight to get back in it.
So if you're looking for a bit of a flyer, 1-1 is a great pick with solid statistical backing. And finally, let's talk about both teams to score, or BTTS. This one is a bit more of a gamble, but the data supports it.
Here's the dilemma. Both teams have struggled to score consistently, but they both concede goals regularly. That makes BTTS a medium-risk play, but one that could hit.
Everton's attack isn't prolific, but they find a way to score in tough games. And Wolves, despite their struggles, tend to create chances at home.
If one team scores early, the other will have to respond. That's why BTTS has decent value in this game. It's not as strong as BTTS in Brentford versus Aston Villa, but it's a decent play.
Alright, so to summarise our best bets for Wolves versus Everton or draw, safer bet, avoids Wolves' home inconsistency. Under 2.5 goals, statistically likely in a tight game. Correct score 1-1, risky but historically supported. Both teams to score yes, medium risk but could hit.
This is a tough game to call, but one thing is clear, it's not going to be a goal fest. Expect a battle, a lot of midfield control, and a result that goes down to the wire.
And now let's wrap it up with our final prediction.
Alright, here's our final take on Wolves versus Everton.
Everton's structure gives them a slight edge, but Wolves at home can't be ruled out. This is one of those games where either team could nick a win, but a draw seems most likely.
We're expecting a low-scoring battle, with our most probable outcome being a 1-1 draw. If Wolves don't score early, Everton might just grind out a 1-0 win. Super final predictions. Most likely scoreline 1-1 draw. Alternative outcomes. Wolves 1-0 if they capitalise on early chances. Everton 1-0 if they control the midfield and frustrate Wolves.
So if you're betting, think defensive, think tight scorelines, and be careful picking a winner in this one. This is a classic, low-risk, high-tension Premier League matchup.
That's a wrap for this game. 2 tight contests this week, and 2 very different betting approaches. Brentford versus Aston Villa is all about goals, and Wolves versus Everton is all about grinding out a result.
And that's it for this episode of the Gambler's Ruin Project.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Gambler's Ruin Project. We've broken down the numbers, analysed the matchups, and given you AI-driven betting insights for Brentford versus Aston Villa and Wolves versus Everton.
2 completely different games, 2 very different betting strategies, one full of goals and attacking football, the other a cagey, low-scoring battle. Whatever your approach, always bet smart and responsibly.
And that's the key. We're here to provide insights, but at the end of the day, betting should be fun, not stressful. It's about staying disciplined, managing your bankroll, and making informed decisions.
That's why we always say, our content is for informational purposes only. These predictions are AI generated, but there are no guarantees in football. Always consider multiple factors before placing a bet.
And most importantly, if gambling ever stops being fun or feels like it's getting out of control, there's help available. If you or someone you know needs support, here are some responsible gambling resources. Super Responsible Gambling Helplines, USA National Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-5224-700. Available 24/7, UK, Be Gamble Aware, 08088020133 or visit begambleaware.org.
There's no shame in reaching out for help. Betting should always be about enjoyment, not stress. If it ever feels like too much, take a break, seek advice, and bet responsibly.
With that said, we'll see you next week for more AI-driven insights, Premier League predictions, and betting strategies. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Take care, bet smart, and enjoy the football. The Gambler's Ruin Project, where the odds get cracked.